Okay, hi everyone. Hope you're all doing well. So I'm going to begin today's vocabulary class now. I think a couple of people aren't here yet, but it's time to begin anyway. But before we begin, first of all, can you hear me well and can you see the screen well? Just react in the chat or type in yes if you can. All right, wonderful. Thank you, everyone. All right, so before we begin, I just want to bring up that I know that you guys have heard bad offensive language in some of the previous classes. So just to make sure you guys don't say anything, I'm gonna enact this rule. So if you can see well, anyone who uses offensive language, profanities, or disrespectful language, whether speaking it and or writing it, will be removed from the class immediately, and the offenders will receive zero chance to return to any class of any sort. So yeah, if you act offensive in the chat, once again, if you act offensive in the chat or if you unmute yourself to be offensive, then then you will be kicked from the class and receive zero chance to return to any class without any compensation. So I'm gonna just paste this in the chat a little bit while you guys are doing the assignments. But yeah, other than that, we can begin this class. Okay, so here's the first word I want you guys to use. So, Yanfei, could you read the word, the definition in the example, please?
Apocryph Apocryphal adjective,
Hmm.
pro probably not true, but widely believed to be so. Generally accepted or repeated as fact, though included from the official version of events, a story that is fabric fabricated long after the fact is considered a apocryphal. Did George Washington really have a pocket full after chopping down the cherry tree? It is hard to believe that some still think that the Apollo missions will men landing on the moon are apocryphal.
All right, great. Thank you, Yanfei. Again, I mentioned this last class, but if you're having trouble pronouncing the word, there is a pronunciation guide that will help you. But you pronounced it quite well, actually. Generally, we say apocryphal. But yeah, you still did well. So I'm going to give you all 2 minutes to write and 2 minutes and then we'll spend some amount of time editing your sentences. Remember, I want you guys to write 3 sentences using the word. Hey, so I noticed we got 2 new students in here, two people who weren't there at the beginning, that is. So I want to reiterate from what I said at the beginning of the lesson. If anyone writes or speaks any offensive language, because I know we've had some perpetrator in the last few classes being immensely disrespectful with that language, anyone who says or writes any offensive language will be kicked from the meeting and will have no chance to return back with zero compensation. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. If anyone's finishing up their sentences, I'd like them to put them in the chat, please. And now I'm going to begin going through some of the sentences. Okay, so thank you to those that posted sentences so far. All right, so Isaac writes, aliens may be apocryphal. People are trying to figure if they are real, but people still didn't find the aliens. Good use of the word. Makes sense in this context, but a few grammatical edits I would make. If you if you want to say something like this, you'd say people are trying to figure out if they are real. And I want to just quickly change, but people still didn't find the aliens into to this day. People still, I'm gonna just change this. I'm gonna try to go a bit quicker into haven't found aliens. And Austin writes, the apocryphal tales surrounding the origins of the ancient city often blend fact with fiction. While some scholars dismiss these stories as mere folklore, others find value in the lessons they impart. Ultimately, the allure of apocryphal narratives continues to captivate those who seek to understand the mysteries of the past. All right, well written, Austin. Good use of the adjective, proper use of the adjective, in fact. Good sentences, good storytelling. Yeah, you did well. So now I'm going to move on to the next word. The next word, give me a second. Okay, so Eric, could you read the word, the definition in the example, please?
Abrogate verb to formally and with authority repeal or cancel something, such as an agreement or a contract. To take official action leading to such an end. To abrogate a bad deal early or late is just great. Is just as great. The two business partners agreed to abrogate their contract after they discovered their venture their, was no longer profitable.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Yeah, so once again, yeah, I didn't see any issues with your pronunciation and you read well. So once again, I'll give you 2 minutes to write out 3 sentences using this word, and then I'll edit them all. And I see some new people have entered the chat, have entered the room. I just want to reiterate from the beginning of the lesson, anyone who uses offensive language, whether in the chat or verbally using the microphone, will be subsequently removed from this class and will have zero chance of redemption to enter another class with zero compensation as well. Okay, it's been 2 minutes. Has anyone finished their sentences or is finishing up their sentences? Wonderful. I see one. I'd like to have a couple more before I begin, please. Okay, so I'm just gonna start this off now. Okay, so only one person participated this time, so this should be quick. So Austin writes, the government decided to abrogate the outdated law, recognizing that it no longer served the public interest. By doing so, they aim to streamline regulations and promote more effective governance. Okay, yeah, good use of the word Austin and good grammar usage and good writing of the sentences. You did well. Before I move on, does anyone else want to submit some of their sentences? All right. Looks like I got another one. Thank you. Okay. Eric writes, the companies decided to abrogate their agreement of merging since one company's stock is lower. This makes the other company non-profitable. Okay, good use of abrogate as well, Eric. Awesome. Small grammar error I want to fix should be not here. There should be a comma. There could be a comma over here. And there should be, this is a very minor nitpick. Don't beat yourself up over this. The non-profitable should have a hyphen in between non and profitable. Okay? But you all did well. So let's continue on. All right. Here's the next word. Isaac, could you read the definition in the example, please?
And antithesis. Now, the exact opposite of an idea, characteristic, or concept. A proposal that is the opposite of another idea already proposed. A word or phrase that contracts with another to create a balanced effect. Parents are often the an antithesis of cool. Early in the season, the young quarterback seemed the antithesis of
I
an
just want to point out before you continue, the word is pronounced antithesis, as in the pronunciation over here. So could you start from the example sentence again? Just from early in the season, and then,
early in the season, the
yeah,
young quarterback seemed the antith antithesis, right,
yeah, wonderful.
of an MVP because he threw so many interceptions.
Okay, good job, Isaac. Thank you very much. Once again, I'll give you 2 minutes to write 3 sentences using this word at least once, and then I'll go through them all. Okay, I'd say it's been 2 minutes now. Anyone finishing up their sentences? All right, so here are the sentences so far. Again, if anyone else is finishing up and would like to post their sentences in the chat while I read these out, you may go ahead and do so. So Isaac says that my friends do not have an antithesis of what game we are going to play. That's not a bad sentence, but you don't really use the word antithesis like that. So honestly, I wouldn't use the word antithesis like that. Yeah. I would rather describe something as an antithesis. That's how I would use this. So as a teacher example, I could write, for example, the game my friends to play is the antithesis of fun. Something like that if you want to use a similar concept to what you use in the first in your sentence. Okay. So yeah. And Austin then writes, the bright sun shone down in the dark stormy sea, showcasing the antithesis of light and darkness. This striking contrast highlighted the beauty and chaos of nature in a single moment. Yeah, you use antithesis well in this series of sentences. The way you wrote is good too. Well done. I got a couple more sentences that I want to read now. It's only take a little bit longer. Okay. Alumo, Aluimo, I think that's how you pronounce it, says, I wanted to antithesis my friend, but okay, he said and no. I don't think you real yeah, you didn't really write this sentence very well. The way you use it doesn't make a lot of sense. Honestly, it doesn't seem like you really tried to make a sentence, but so I'm just gonna cross this all out. We don't really have enough time to make a new sentence now, so I'm gonna quickly read the next one. Eric writes, even when Victor Wembanyama was drafted for seventh for the Utah Spurs, he seemed antithesis for being picked, although he still got picked. The way you use antithesis, you could use a similar word, antithetical, here. Uh, the idea is still there. I would have liked you to see you use antithesis properly, like the actual word, but I get the idea you were going for here. So yeah, I think you did a good job writing this sentence. And if I were you, I would probably just use the word antithesis as is rather than try to use it as an adjective. Overall, good job. And now let's move on to the next word. Okay, so this time, Aaron, could you read out the word, the definition, and the example here?
Um, Augment to increase in growth, size, strength, loudness, or scope.
I'd like you to read the example sentence too. Sorry.
To finish the remodeling job, the foreman said he would augment his crew as well as the pool of bulldozers on site.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron. Okay, so I'll give you guys 2 minutes to write out three sentences, and then I'll go through them all with you. Okay, it's been 2 minutes now. Does anyone have any sentences they'd like to post or is finishing up? Yeah, I saw your message, Austin. You're good. All right, here are the sentences so far. Again, if anyone is finishing up their sentences and would like to post as I'm going through them, you may go ahead and do so. So Isaac writes, I grew augment and I am taller than most of my friends. I get the idea behind the sentence here, but I don't think you used the word properly. So instead of saying I grew augment, which doesn't make a lot of sense, instead, I would go to keep that general idea of what your sentence is about. I'm going to write, uh, hmm, I'm going to cross this out too. My height was whoops, was augmented, and I am taller than most of my friends now. Okay, so we could use augment or augmented as the verb. But yeah, I get the idea behind your sentence. It makes sense. Good job anyway, but remember to try to use the word a little bit properly. Austin writes, the company decided to augment its workforce by hiring additional staff to meet growing demands. This move aimed to enhance productivity and improve service quality for their customers. Okay, well done, Austin. Once again, you use the word profoundly, and the sentences you wrote all made sense. So I got a sentence from Eric now that I'm going to read out. Eric writes, when the monster got closer to the lost hikers, the footsteps grew augment. This made the hikers scared even more. Okay, I see what you're trying to say with this sentence, but again, you used augment in a similar fashion to Isaac. I get what you're trying to say, but augment is the verb you want to use rather than grew. Uh, so instead of saying the footsteps grew augment, okay. So what was I saying again? Oh yeah. The footsteps grew, the footsteps volume was augmented. We could write that. Gonna add an apostrophe here. Yeah, that's all I would write. Okay, and now for the last sentence. So Lumo writes, I thought the monster was in my closet when I was young, but now I know it's in my pants, which is not a proper use of the word. In fact, you didn't use the word at all. So this is, in fact, not a good sentence. Really like you to try a little bit harder when you do these. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next word. The next word is belligerent. Sorry, belligerent. Uh, Austin, could you read out the word, the definition in the example, please?
Belligerent, adjective, ready to start a war or fight, hostile, aggressive, or pugnacious, describes participants in a war or fight. Football players, especially those who play on defense, often cite themselves into a belligerent state prior to each game.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Austin. So once again, I'll give you 2 minutes to write your 3 sentences, and make sure if you're typing in the chat, you're being productive. Otherwise, I'm going to have to kick you out. Okay, it's been 2 minutes now. Anyone else finishing up their sentences? I'd like you to post it in the chat right now. Otherwise, I'm going to begin going through them all. Okay, so so here are the sentences so far. I'm gonna type in the yeah. So the first sentence by Illumere is written as after my friend voided my giant sword and cactused my Hyperion, I was belligerent to make him bite the curb. Pretty grim concept, but I don't understand what some of these words mean, but your use of belligerent was at least good. Try to use words that are commonly used in the English dictionary because I'm not really into what you mean by cactused. And Isaac writes, America and China are belligerent to start a war. I would have liked to see some more sentences, but yeah, your sentence makes sense and was good. So yeah, good job. Anyone else want to post their sentence before the class finishes up? Okay, it seems like no one is. All right. It seems like no more sentence is posting any more sentences. So sorry about the person who typed in the offensive word in the chat. He will be subsequently removed from every meeting entirely, and he will hopefully not return. And yeah, this has been the class and for the vocabulary class for today, and I'll see you all next week. Have a good night, everyone, or day, or whatever time zone you're in.